I can't believe it's on there, and I don't know. Honestly, I'm really, really shocked to see that.
I recently saw you on the news, on the Portland News, WGME Channel 13, talking about the Red Cross blood drive posters that have gone up over town. Can you tell me just like basically what happened? How did you come across the news crew, and how did you end up on the evening news?
Sure. I was walking just down Congress Street on my lunch break and noticed the news anchorman with a microphone. He approached me. He wasn't like blatantly in my face, but he was like, "Hey, I have a question." And I was like, "Oh, whatever. I'm on my lunch break. Sure. What is it?" And he pointed at the blood drive poster. Then he pointed at the no faggots underneath, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's disgusting." As in, because I think the way he framed it, it made me believe that the Red Cross had done this, that they were the ones that had posted the poster.
I think it's absolutely disgusting.
And so my immediate reaction was, "Oh my God, they really did that? Like, oh my God." And so that was my reaction when I was like, "That's disgusting."
I think it's absolutely disgusting.
The signs have clearly made people angry.
But then he went on to say, there's been some speculation about people who are not affiliated with the Red Cross hanging these up. What do you think about that?
A Portland group upset over the Red Cross's policy for homosexual blood donors admits to going around the city and putting up what appears to be Red Cross posters featuring slang derogatory to homosexuals.
I basically was like, yeah, if someone's doing that, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I think that it really is making a really powerful statement, and it's definitely going to make me question the Red Cross and want to do more research on the organization as a whole. I don't know if they said any of that. Rumors are telling me that it just had me saying, "That's disgusting."
Well, some are calling the posters disgusting and downright offensive.
Wish that I'd never talked to him in the first place. Well, I just feel completely misrepresented and embarrassed and pissed off, to be honest.
These posters are vandalism, and they couldn't have come at a worse time for this organization. We're live in Portland. I'm News 13's Doug Ray. Jeff, we're going to send it back to you.
All right, Doug, thank you very much.
When that policy was instituted, it was when everybody felt that AIDS was a gay disease that only gay men got.
It's just equating gay male sexuality or queer sexuality in general with a disease and with dangerous behavior. It would be totally ridiculous to the general public if the FDA banned young straight women from donating blood.
A few of us went out during the day and just had a low-key postering. Since the posters look very realistic, we were able to go out and just put up the posters in the middle of the afternoon. And what it is basically a flyer that looks like a Red Cross blood drive poster, except in small letters at the bottom it says "No faggots allowed," and that's there to illuminate the Red Cross's homophobic policy of not allowing men who have had sex with men even once since 1977 from donating blood.
We received a telephone call that there were Red Cross posters that were taken without our permission. Offensive language was added that's inappropriate in any context, so we immediately sent people to Portland to look into the issue. We consider it an act of vandalism. While we're happy to discuss deferral criteria and other information about blood banking, what we are not willing to do is allow our logo to be used in conjunction with such inappropriate language.
A warning, some of the words involved in this story we find offensive, and you may too.
We used "No Faggots Allowed" to sort of create this like spectacle of people looking at it and being like, whoa, wait, is that for real? And like people have been taking the poster to the Red Cross and being like, what's this about? Like, it is for real. Like, that is their policy.
Well, the posters were inappropriate in any context, and it certainly created some confusion in the community. And we just want to be clear that as a humanitarian organization, it certainly is not our position, and it's not something that we authorized.
Like, the Red Cross is responsible for like furthering institutionalized homophobia, which kills people, like, bottom line. So us using the word faggot on a poster isn't nearly as big of a deal as like queer kids killing themselves. Like, sorry, get over it.
The Food and Drug Administration sets guidelines that the American Red Cross and all blood banking organizations must adhere to. We believe that the deferral criteria is unwarranted and should be modified, and we approached the FDA regarding the issue. The FDA has reinstated the deferral criteria, and we're obligated to follow it.
It's really interesting how people are like apologizing for the Red Cross as if like they're guilt-free in like having this policy, because they're still choosing to have this policy and they're not choosing to fight it. Like, how would like the three of us fight the FDA? You can't fight the FDA. It's like this thing in Washington DC that like no one sees. Like, it's like saying like, I'm gonna take on the Pentagon, like, good luck. But for us, like, targeting the Red Cross, who's like collects most of the world's blood supplies, like, by targeting them and pushing them to do the work of changing policies like this is what we're doing. It was a strategic decision to choose them.
As an organization, we've already approached the FDA on the matter, so that's separate from the issue at hand, and that is somebody taking our poster, defacing it, and using inappropriate language that's offensive. And our hope is that this young man or other organizations that want to discuss the issue will do so in a productive and factual manner.
If the Red Cross was actually interested in like public health and safety and saving lives, using blood drives as an opportunity to do free, anonymous, non-compulsory HIV testing instead of just rejecting people on the probability of them being in a high-risk category, seems like it would be much more effective in actually preventing and curbing AIDS infections in the United States, because all that blood has to get tested anyways by law before it enters the blood banks. So why not test people as well as the blood?
We rely on the youth. They represent about 15% of our blood donations, and we just hope that people would call 1-800-GIVE-LIFE, and while they may think about the criteria and different issues affecting blood banking, we also must make sure that we have a sufficient blood supply for patients in need, so we'd hope people would consider giving blood, and if they're deferred, contributing in another meaningful way.
The night after I spoke to the news anchorman, I saw people hanging up the poster, and I went up to them and I was like, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. They acted really weird around me, and of course later I realized it was probably because they'd seen the news footage, and they were probably like, what the hell? I felt really excited when I saw them hanging the posters. I was like, right on.